Back from winter break. Despite what Tushman said, there was no clean slate. When I went back to school in January, in fact, things were totally weird. From the second I got into my locker that morning, I'm next to Amos, who always been a straight up nice kid. And I was like, "Yeah, what up?" And he basically just nodded, a half hello, closed his locker door, and left. I was like, "Okay, that was bizarre." And then I said, "Hey, what up?" to Henry, who didn't even bother half smiling. He just looked away. Okay, something's up. So, dissed by two people. Then 5 minutes later, not that anyone's counting, I thought, I tried one more time with Tristan. And boom, same thing. He actually looked nervous, like he was afraid of talking to me. I got a form of the plague now, I thought. That's Julian's payback. And that's pretty much how it went all morning. Nobody talked to me. Well, that's not true. Girls were totally normal with me. And August talked to me, and of course, and actually, I have to say, both Maxes said hello, which made me feel kind of bad for never ever hanging out with them in 5 years since I've been in class. I hope lunch would be better. Oh, but it wasn't. I sat down at my usual table. Luca and Isaiah, I guess I thought since they weren't super popular group, and they were kind of middle of the road like jock kids, that I'd be safe with them. But they barely nodded when I said hello. Then when our table was called and got lunches, they never came back. I saw them way over there on the other side of the cafeteria. They weren't at Julian's table, but they were near him, like on the fringe of popularity. So anyways, I'd been ditched. I knew table switching was something that happened in 5th grade, but I never thought it would happen to me. I felt really awful being the table all by myself. I felt like everyone was watching me. It also made me feel like I had no friends, so I decided to skip lunch and go to the library to read The War. It was Charlotte who had the inside scoop on everyone that was dissing me. I found a note inside my locker at the end of the day. "Meet me at room 301 after school. Come by yourself, Charlotte." She was already inside my room when I walked in. "Sup?" I said. "Hey," she said. She went over to the door, looked left, looked right, and then closed the door and locked it from inside. Then she turned to face me and started biting her nail when she talked. "Look, I really feel bad about what's going on, and I just wanted to tell you what I know. Promise you won't tell anyone I talk to you?" "I promise." "So, Julian had this huge party over winter break," she said. I mean, huge. My sister's friend had her Sweet 16 party at the same place. There was like 200 people there. So, I mean, it was a huge place. "Yeah, and?" "Well, yeah, and pretty much everybody in the whole school was there." "Not everyone," I joked. "Right. Okay, not everyone, duh. But, like, even parents were there. You know, like my parents were there. You know, Julian's mom is the vice president of the school board, right? So she knows a lot of people. Anyways, basically what happened at the party was Julian went around telling everybody that you punched him because you had emotional problems." "What?" "Yeah. And that you would have gotten expelled, but his parents begged the school to not expel you." "What?" "Yeah. And none of it would have happened in the first place if Tushman hadn't forced you to be friends with Augie," he said. "His mom thinks you, quote, snapped under pressure." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "No one brought into that, did they?" I said. She shrugged. "Oh, that's not even the point. The point is he's really popular. And you know my mom heard that his mom is actually trying to push the school to review Augie's application to Beecher." "Can she do that?" "It's about Beecher not being an inclusion school. That's a type of school that mixes normal kids with kids with special needs." "Well, that's just stupid. Augie doesn't have special needs." "Yeah, but she's saying that if the school is changing the way they usually do things in some ways." "But they're not changing anything." "Well, yeah, they did. You remember they changed the theme of the New Year art show. In past years, fifth graders painted a self-portrait, but this year they made us do those ridiculous self-portraits as animals, remember? So, big deal. I know, I'm not saying I agree. I'm just saying that's what she's saying. I know. It's just so messed up. I know. Well, anyways, Julian said he thinks that being friends with Augie is bringing you down, and that for your own sake, you need to stop hanging out with him so much. And if you start losing all your friends, it'll be a big wake-up call to you. So basically, for your own good, he's going to stop hanging around with you and stop being your friend completely. Newsflash, I stopped being friends completely with him first. Yeah, but he's convinced all the boys to stop being your friend for your own good. That's why nobody's talking to you. Well, you're talking to me. Yeah, well, this is more of a boy thing, she explained. The girls are trying to stay neutral, of course, except for Savannah's group because, well, they're going out with Julian's group. But to everybody else, it's just really a boy war. I nodded. She tilted her head to one side and pouted like she felt sorry for me. Is it okay I told you all of this? She said. Yeah, of course. I don't care if anybody talks to me or not, I lied. This is all just so dumb, she nodded. Hey, does Augie know any of this? Of course not, at least not for me. And Summer? Oh, I don't think so. Look, I better go. Just so you know, my mom thinks Julian's mom's a total idiot. She said she thinks people like her are more concerned about their kid's class picture, what they look like, more than they do doing the right thing. You heard about the photo cropping, right? Yeah, that was really sick. Totally, she answered, nodding. Anyways, I better go. I just wanted you to know what was up and stuff. Thanks, Charlotte. I'll let you know if I hear anything else, she said. Before she went out, she looked left, she looked right, outside the door, to make sure no one saw her leaving. I guess even though she was neutral, she still didn't want to be seen with me. Switching tables. So the next day at lunch, stupid me, I sat down at a table with Tristan, Nino, and Pablo. I thought maybe they were safe because they really weren't considered popular, but they weren't out there like with playing D&D at recess either. They were the sort of in between, and at first I thought I scored because they were basically too nice to not acknowledge my presence. And I walked over to the table and they all said hey, though I could tell they looked up at each other. And they did the same thing that happened yesterday at our lunch table. What's called, they got up, they got their food, and they headed towards a new table on the other side of the cafeteria. Unfortunately, Mrs. G, who was the lunch teacher that day, saw what was happening and chased after them. That's not allowed, boys, she scolded loudly. This is not that kind of school. You go right back to your table. Oh, great. Like this was going to help. Before they could be forced to sit back at the table, I got up with my tray, walked really, really fast. I could hear Mrs. G yelling my name, but I pretended I didn't hear her, and I kept walking to the other side of the cafeteria behind the lunch counter. Sit with us, Jack. It was Summer, and she and August were sitting there at the table, and they were both waving me over. Why I didn't sit with August the first day of school. Okay, I'm a total hypocrite. I know. The very first day of school, I remember seeing August in the cafeteria. Everyone was looking at him. They were talking about him. Back then, no one was used to his face or even knew that he was coming to Beecher. So it was a total shocker for a lot of people to see him there the first day of school. Most kids were even afraid to get near him. So when I saw him going into the cafeteria ahead of me, I knew he'd have to come no one to sit with. But I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I couldn't sit with them. I had been hanging with them all morning long, and because we had classes together, and I guess I was just kind of wanting a little normal time to chill with other kids. So when I saw him move to the table on the other side of the lunch counter, I purposely found a table far, far away so that as I could find. And I sat down with Isaiah and Luca. Even though I'd never met them before, we talked about baseball and the whole time, and I played basketball with them at recess, and they became my lunch buddies from then on. I heard Summer had sat down with August, which surprised me because I knew for a fact she was not one of the kids Tushman had talked to about being friends with Augie. So I knew she was just doing it to be nice, and that was pretty brave, I thought. So now, here I was, sitting with Summer and August, and they were being totally nice to me as always. I filled them in on about what Charlotte had told me, well, except for the whole part about being snapped under the pressure of Augie's friendship, or the part about Julian's mom saying that Augie had special needs, or the part about the school board. I guess all I really told them was that Julian had a holiday party and managed to turn the whole grade against me. It just feels so weird, I said, not to have people talking to you and pretending you don't even exist. Augie started smiling. Yeah, you think? He said sarcastically. Welcome to my world, dude. Sides. So here are the official sides his Summer had at lunch the next day. She pulled out a folded piece of paper and opened it. It had 3 columns. Jack's side, Julian's side, neutrals. Jack's side, Jack, August, Reed, Max G, Max W. Julian's side, Miles, Henry, Amos, Simon, Tristan, Pablo, Nino, Isaiah, Luca, Jake, Tolan, Roman, Ben, Emmanuel, Zeke, Tomaso. Neutrals, Malik, Romeo, Jose, Leaf, Ram, Ivan, and Russell. Where did you get this? Asked Augie, looking over my shoulder as I read it. Charlotte made it, Summer answered quickly. She gave it to me last period, and she said she thought you should know who was on your side, Jack. Yeah, not many people. That's for sure, I said. Reed, she said, and the 2 Miles. Great, the nerds are on my side. Don't be mean, said Summer. I think Charlotte likes you, by the way. Yeah, I know. Are you going to ask her out? Are you kidding? I can't. Now that everybody's actually acting like I have the plague. The second I said it, I realized I shouldn't have said it. There was an awkward moment of silence. I looked at Augie. It's okay, he said. I knew about that. Sorry, dude, I said. I didn't know they called it the plague, though, he said. I figured it was more like the cheese touch or something. Oh, yeah, like from the Diary of the Wimpy Kid, I nodded. Yeah, the plague actually sounds cooler, he joked. Like someone could catch Black Death of ugliness. As he said this, he made air quotes. I think that's awful, said Summer, but Augie shrugged while taking a long sip out of his juice box. Anyway, I'm not asking Charlotte out, I said. My mom thinks we're all too young to be dating anyway, she answered. What if Reed asked you out, I said. Would you go? I could tell she was surprised. No, she said. I'm just asking, I laughed. She shook her head and smiled. Why? What do you know? Nothing. I'm just asking, I said. I actually agree with your mom, she said. I do think we're way too young to be dating. I mean, I just don't see what the rush is. Yeah, I agree, said August. Which is kind of a shame, because with all those babes who keep throwing themselves at me and stuff, he said this in such a funny way that the milk I was drinking came out of my nose when I laughed, which made us all totally crack up. August's house. It was really in the middle of January, and we hadn't even chosen what our science fair project was to work on. I guess I kept putting it off. I just didn't want to do it. Finally, August was like, dude, we have to do this. So we went to his house after school. I was really nervous because I didn't know if August had ever told his parents that I called him at Halloween with the incident. Turns out his dad wasn't even home and his mom was running errands. I'm pretty sure that for 2 seconds I'd spent talking to her that Augie had never mentioned a thing about it. She was super cool and friendly towards me. When I first walked into Augie's room, I was like, whoa, Augie, you have serious Star Wars addiction. He had full Star Wars miniatures and a huge Empire Strikes Back poster on his wall. I know, right? He said. And he laughed. He sat down, rolling the chair next to his desk, and I plopped down on the beanbag chair in the corner. That's when his dog waddled into the room right up next to me. Oh, he was on your holiday card, I said, letting the dog smell my hand. He corrected me. Daisy? You can pet her. She doesn't bite. When I started petting her, basically rolled over on her back. She wants you to rub her tummy, said August. Okay, that's the cutest dog I've ever seen, I said, rubbing her stomach. I know, right? She's the best dog in the world. Aren't you, girly? As soon as she heard Augie's voice say that, the girl started wagging her tail and went over to him. Who's my little girly? Who's my little girly? Augie said, saying, and she licked him all over the face. Gosh, I wish I had a dog, I said. My parent thinks our apartment is too small. I started looking around the stuff at his room. Wow, he turned on the computer. Hey, you got an Xbox 360? Can we play? Dude, we are here to work on the science fair project. Do you have Halo? Of course I have Halo. Can we play, please? He had logged in on the Beecher website and was now scrolling down to Miss Rubin's teacher page and through the list of science fair projects. Can you see from here, he said. I sighed and went to sit at the little stool that was right next to him. Cool iMac, I said. What kind of computer do you have? Dude, I don't even have my own room, much less my own computer. My parents have this ancient Dell that's practically dead. Okay, how about this one, he said, turning the screen in my direction so I would look at it. I made a quick scan of the screen and my eyes literally started blurring. Making a sun clock, he said. That sounds kind of cool. I leaned back. Can we make a volcano? Everyone makes the volcano. Duh, because it's easy, I said, putting Daisy again. What about, how to make crystal spikes out of Epsom salt? That sounds boring, I answered. So why'd you call her Daisy? He looked over from the screen. Oh, my sister named her. I wanted to call her Darth. Actually, technically speaking, her full name is Darth Daisy. But we never went with that. We just call her Daisy. Darth Daisy, that's funny. Hi, Darth Daisy, I said to the dog, who rolled on her back again so I could rub her on her tummy. Okay, this one is the one, said August, pointing to the pictures of the screen. A bunch of potatoes with wires poking out of them. How to build an organic battery made from potatoes. Now that's cool. It says that we could power a lamp with it. We could call it the Spud lamp or something. What do you think? Dude, that sounds way too hard. You know, I suck at science, right? Shut up, you do not. Yeah, I do. I got 5th hour on my last test. I got a 54 on my last test. I suck at science. No, you don't. And that was only because we were still fighting and I wasn't helping you. I can help you now. This is a good project, Jack. We can do it. Fine, whatever, I shrugged. Just then there was a knock at the door. A teenage girl with long dark hair poked her head into the door. She wasn't expecting to see me. Oh, hey, she said to both of us. Hey, Via, said August, looking around the computer screen. Via, this is Jack. Jack, this is Via. Hi, I said. Hey, she said, looking at me carefully. I knew the second Augie said my name. He told her about the stuff I had said about him. I could see from the way she looked at me. In fact, the way she looked at me made me think that she remembered from that day at Carvel at Amsford Avenue all those years ago. Augie, I have a friend I want you to meet, okay? He said. He's coming over in a few minutes. Is he your boyfriend? August teased. Via kicked the bottom of his chair. Just be nice, she said, and she left the room. Dude, your sister's hot, I said. Yeah, I know. She hates me, right? You told her about the Halloween incident, didn't you? Yeah. Yeah, she hates me, or yeah, you told her about Halloween? Both. The boyfriend. 2 minutes later, she came back in with a guy named Justin. He seemed like a cool enough dude. Longish hair, little round glasses. He was carrying a big, long, shiny silver case that ended up with a sharp point at the end. Justin, this is my brother Augie, said Via, and that's Jack. Hey guys, said Justin, shaking our hands. He seemed a little nervous, I guess maybe because of meeting August for the first time, and sometimes I forget the shock the first time people see him. Cool room. Are you Via's boyfriend? Augie asked mischievously, and his sister pulled his cap down over his face. What's in your case? I said. A machine gun? Answered the boyfriend. That's funny. No, it's a fiddle. Justin's a fiddler, said Via. He's in a Zydeco band. What the heck is a Zydeco band? Said Augie, looking at me. It's a type of music, said Justin, like Creole music. What's Creole? I said. You should tell people it's a machine gun, said Augie. Nobody would ever mess with you then. I guess you're right, Justin said, nodding and tucking his hair behind his ears. Creole's the kind of music they play in Louisiana, he said to me. Are you from Louisiana? I asked. No, he answered, pushing up his glasses. I'm from Brooklyn. I don't know why that made me want to laugh, but it did. Come on, Justin, said Via, pulling him by the hand. Let's go hang out in my room. Okay, see you guys later. Bye, he said. Bye. Bye. As soon as he left the room, Augie looked at me, smiling. I'm from Brooklyn, I said, and we both started laughing hysterically.